Hello, my happy friends. So I have been doing a lot of pop-ups, and I have been meeting a lot of young ladies who are looking to start crocheting. They have questions. So for today's video, I'm going to answer them. So we're going to do tips and tools of crocheting for beginners, and I'm going to break it all down, explain all the different things, and that way hopefully this will help each one of you learn and get good at crocheting. So, but before I do all that and change up the angle and explain everything that I have laid out on my desk here, we're going to do a little story time. So, earlier today, I went and I met with a young lady and I picked up some yarn from her from OfferUp, and I got home and I was going through all of the things that I purchased from her, and I mean, beautiful yarns. And she said she was wanting to learn, but got a little complicated. So hopefully she's watching this video, and that way she can learn some of this stuff too. But before that, I was going through and I found a couple things in the 2 bags that she gave me. And I have to say, these are adorable. So she put in these bags these little cupcakes, and they're so cute. There's this little one, it's so tiny, I love it. And then this one. These are so cute. I wish you had kept these, but because you didn't, and I love them, I have up on my top shelf back here all my little things that I make and keep and save. So I'm going to add the small cupcake to my shelf. It's going to go right there. Right there next to my bee. So now I've got a cupcake on my shelf. I think that is so cute. So, to the young lady who made the cupcakes, thank you very much. I'm going to enjoy it. So now, let's go ahead, change up this angle, and I'm going to go over everything that I have laying out across my desk. All right, ladies, so let's go ahead and explain the hooks. This is the most important tool that you are going to have in your collection of crochet stuff. So, hooks come in a lot of different sizes, colors, brand names, style of how they look. So, your basic hook is like this. And this hook is a Boys, it's a brand, and I prefer these ones. These are my go-to favorite over what is called a Susan Bates. Now, if you notice, a Susan Bates has this very sharp ridge, and it's just very, dominant, real sharp, where Boys is rounded. And so I just personally prefer this one because for me, it just flows in my yarn easier. Everybody's different, so you definitely want to play with these and figure out which one's most comfortable for you. Now they're going to come in different sizes, of course. So here's a good example of 2 different sizes. This is a size 8.0 millimeter. The other one is a 4.0 millimeter. Same thing, both Boys. And these are your basic hook size or hook styles. You will have to get familiar with a hook chart size, but you can easily go online, go to Google and put in crochet hook size chart, and it'll show you everything because your sizes will come in numbers and in letters. So you got to learn that stuff, but it's not hard, so don't worry. The other thing is you can get hooks that have these nice rubber grips. There's also people that sell big wood handle ones. They have neat designs on them. So start with your basic. Get comfortable holding the hooks before you start playing with all those fancy dancy ones. So, hooks. There's your explanation as to why you got different tips, sizes, and of course, styles. So, now, the next important item are your stitch markers. These come in obviously different colors. They come in different styles. So I have ones that have little hearts, but I also have the ones that are rounded. There's metal ones. You can also use just a piece of yarn tied in the area. You can get metal little fancy rings that have little charms on them, like this, where it clips. You can do whatever's comfortable for you. I personally am partial to these. And your stitch markers are literally going into, as you're working across, and you have to count, you're gonna put your stitch marker right where you need it at your placing. These will keep track of your stitches across when you're working in the round, which I'll get to that, and also your rows. So for me, if I'm working on a blanket, I like to keep track of my rows every 10. So as I'm working and I come up and I go, oh, that's another 10 row, I will place my stitch marker there. And then I keep going every 10 rows. That way, as I'm working, I don't have to sit there and count over and over and over again, because I know each stitch marker that's on here is 10 rows. So I can go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, all the way up, okay? Stitch markers are your friend. You can never have too many, because like I said, you can use multiple in a project. Some projects only need one, some need a lot. Especially if you're gonna do like sweaters and you're putting it in pieces, you're definitely gonna want your stitch markers, especially when you start putting your pieces together, because you have to add them all together in counts and make sure your rows line up, the front and back, your sleeves come together. Your stitch markers are so important. So make sure you have plenty of stitch markers and make sure they're the style that's comfortable for you. Again, play with a few of them, see which one you prefer. And also make sure you've got a good, strong carrying case for them. In my everyday 9-to-5 life, I am a dental assistant, so I usually take the little boxes from tools from work, and that's what I use to put all my stuff in. So, and as you can tell, this one's starting to break and I need a new one. So, stitch markers are important. The next very important tool that you will need are yarn needles. Yarn needles are when you are working on a project and you finish, you're gonna have a tail. There's gonna be a piece of yarn hanging out, and you're gonna take your yarn needle and you're gonna literally sew it back into your work. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm gonna show you right now. So you're gonna take, let's do this bright yellow one so you can see it inside of this. So you're gonna feed that tail of yarn through the eye, and then you're gonna go back into your work, and you're just gonna go all the way down like so, and then pull it through. And that way your yarn, your tail is hiding in your work. So yarn needles are very important. You can do the plastic ones. These are great for simple projects like a pot holder, your basic flat square, a blanket, things like that. But if you're gonna be doing projects in the round, you're definitely gonna want the metal ones, because as you're sewing and you're pushing through the batting inside your critter, this will push through a lot easier than a plastic. Plastics bend, and you don't want that. So you'll want both. So get a hold of plastic and metal yarn needles. Very important. Also called tapestry needles. There's a couple names for these, so don't get discouraged because of the different names. So yarn needle, tapestry needle. And you can buy packs like this on Amazon. You can also buy them at Joann's. So, you know, they're very, very available. Now, when you're making your project, you have to measure sometimes to make sure, especially if you're doing a sweater or something like that, you have to make sure that your size is correct. So you can have either a measuring tape like this one, or one of these retractable ones. I personally like my little retractable one because then I can measure and then just push the button. Time consuming. So again, very easy to get a hold of. You just need to make sure you have a measuring tape in your arsenal of stuff. So, measuring tape. Scissors. You are definitely going to need scissors. So these are different kinds. You've got your basic everyday scissor. Don't use scissors that you also cut paper and random things with. Always, always, always make sure you have your scissors that are specifically for cutting your yarn. And then you're also going to want scissors that are specifically for cutting fabric. Don't cross them with everyday paper, toy, junk. Open this bag, cut this envelope open. Don't cross your scissors. You need them to stay sharp, because if your scissors are not sharp, it will fray your yarn, and that's never a good thing. So with your basic scissors, this is a cutting tool that is a scissor, but it also is a ring. So let's say you decide, I'm gonna go sit out front and I don't wanna have scissors just sitting off to the side of me. Done. Or you're traveling or something like that. These fit in your traveling supplies very well. This is a great tool. I use it all the time. This is also another kind of a traveling scissor. So you take the cap off, pops open, your grip's on the side, and you just snip. Just like that. And they fit in your carrying case, and they come in different colors. I've got like 3 of these. But, so there's your scissors. We all know how to use scissors. Now, definitely, always, you have to keep track of your stitches somehow. Whether you use a writing utensil on your pattern and you mark off to the side, you can find a little gadget that you can use your, to count your stitches. Sticky notes, great to have. You can keep track of your stitches on your sticky note. You can also write yourself notes. So let's say you're working on a project and you don't want to lose track of what row you're on and what size hook you're using, what kind of yarn you're using, whatever you put it all on your sticky note. Take the sticky note and set it on your pattern. A notebook. Notebooks are great for your patterns. So this one's a new one. I do have others. I have a drawer full of notebooks of all my patterns. This is a new one, but you want to definitely use it because, see, I keep track of my stitches when I make my little octopus. This is how I do it. So you want a notebook, you want your stickies, some kind of tool to keep track, a writing utensil. So, keeping track of stitches, what size hook you're using, what the yarn, the pattern, everything. And then what if there's a date that you need to have this project by? Write it on your sticky note so you don't forget. That's my finish date. I've got to get this done by this day. Everything. These pads are important. Don't spend a bunch of money. Go to the 99-cent store. Go to Dollar Tree. Don't go to Target's expensive. Go to Walmart. Buy the packs. Buy this stuff for cheap. All right. What is next? Storage. always need somewhere to store all of your stuff, correct? Well, a pouch that zips shut, this is always a great way of doing it. And they come in different sizes, so you know, I have a pouch like this, you've got this one. I like these ones because this keeps you organized, so like my purple scissors go right here. That's where that goes. And then inside you can put more of your tools in there. So I have these. So I don't want to go over the things that are more advanced. I want to keep you guys on a beginner friendly starter level. So you will see rulers like this. Don't worry. This stuff, this is actually for knitting. For your knitting needles, you put it through to find out what size it is, because some of them don't have the size on them. But don't get discouraged by that. This is another style of stitch markers that I have. They are rubber, and so I personally, see, I don't even know how to open the box. That's how often I use them. These, for me and my nails, I fumble because you've got this little peg that you've got to stick in that hole, and they're, you know, they're flimsy. So I don't function with these well, so I really don't use them. But they come in kits that I've purchased in the past. So these are for a specific kind of stitch. I still don't even have it down yet, so I'm not even going to explain that to you. But as you can see, again, a writing utensil. These are all tools that are for knitting. This, on the other hand, can be for both. It's a ring that you thread your yarn through, and as you're working, the yarn feeds through. If you're comfortable using these, I am not, so I don't use them. Knitting needles, you put these on the tip, and so that way the needle doesn't poke through your bag, whatever. Just so you know what these little things are in case you were wondering. And I don't remember what I put in here. Again, more type of a stitch marker. And again, another measuring tape. So these little tote bags are great. Another monster hook. And then also your hooks. You're gonna need somewhere to keep your hooks. Now, when you start with a small collection of hooks, one of these little zipper bags is perfect. Pouch. You can also get, they're like just an open pack. Like if you go on Amazon and you look up crochet starter kit, it's a little book that folds out and it's got hooks on one side and then all these little knickknacks on the other. But when you're like me and you have a lot of hooks, you need a bigger book. And I mean a bigger book. And that way you can keep track of all your hooks. Now, why do I have so many hooks of the same size? Because I have multiple projects, and this could happen to you. You're gonna have like 2 or 3 projects that you're working at once. You can't change hooks on your project. You have to stay with that same hook you started with to finish through, unless your project calls for changing hooks because you want your stitch to look different at that point. But we are not there yet. We're beginning, and we're going to stick with one hook for the whole project. So get one hook of one size, but you know, just know that you're gonna collect hooks. Be prepared. It does happen. But always make sure you've got a good, safe way to store your hooks that come in different styles. So I have my rubber gripped ones on one page of this book. Other gripped ones. These are plastic grip with a rubber thumb spot. And then this one is the rest of my boys' and all my smaller ones. These ones are for really small yarn. These ones are just, they're plastic, so you know, I keep them all organized. Now, patterns. Good size 3-ring binder is your friend, so you can keep all of your patterns nicely organized. I do mine alphabetically, so all of my patterns are alphabetized and titled, so when I'm looking for something, I also have my index card, so I literally can just go down my sheet, find what I'm looking for, and I know where to find it. Now we're going to talk about yarn. To start, when you're first learning, okay, now we're done with the tools, now we're going into the tips. The tips are, when you're first learning, don't buy yarn because it's pretty. Buy yarn because of its size. What does that mean? Okay. Each skein of yarn, and I will tell you right now, the Red Heart Super Saver is the best yarn to start with. 1, it's not expensive. 2, they always have it in stock. So, and you know, they make really fun yarn. Now, this piece of paper on each one is going to have all of this information on it. To start, you always want to start, this is the size of your yarn. Want to always start with a size 4. Why? Because it's really easy to see and it's easy to work with. This is all instructions on, this is for knitting, it tells you what size needles. This is for crochet, it tells you what size hook is recommended for this yarn. Always want to stick with your 5.0, your 5.5 hook on all 4 medium weight yarn. This is just laundry. Now, how do you buy another skein of yarn? You only bought 1. My project needs 2. I have to go back to the store and get more. You're looking for your dye lot colors. So if you take this paper from that first skein back to the store and match up your name, the color name and the color number, and then some will have a dye lot number, but Red Heart mostly has no dye lots. This is very common. So you'll just match these up, you get that same one that matches, and you take it home and you've got another skein of yarn. That's how to do that. Now this one also, another reason why I love Red Heart, they always tell you this is the end that's going to pull from the middle inside the skein. This is the end that's going to unravel from the outside inwards. So depending on how you want to work with your yarn, this tells you what end to start with. I prefer to start in the center. So again, Red Heart Super Saver comes in fun colors. Now I do have a couple of do not start with these samples. I know it's pretty and it's big, so it should be easy to work with. No, chunky yarns, it gets very hard because you have to have a bigger hook, your hand's not used to it, and you got to put some elbow grease into working with these, especially because when you're working in the round and you're making animals and things like that, you want your stitches tight. Chunky yarn is not the starter yarn to work with. I know it's pretty and it's soft, but oh, Nicole, I want to play with it. I know, I hear it, but don't, please don't. Stick with the 4. Stick with the 4. Once you get comfortable enough, then you can move on. So no chunkies. And I know it's pretty and it's shiny and it's fluffy and oh, I want to play with it. But I will tell you right now, after you've chained even 3, you will lose track of where your stitches are. It's hard to find your stitches with this. So don't go there. I know it's pretty, but wait until you've gotten really, really good, okay? Now, always medium 4 And it doesn't matter if it's acrylic blend, if it's 100% cotton. I wouldn't really start working with the wools. That can be a little hard. So, you know, stick with the acrylics, the cottons. It's still gonna work up soft. Pick colors that you do like. You know, that's where you can start going, oh, that one's pretty, as long as it's a medium 4. You don't have to pick brown. It just happens to be the color I pulled off my wall to show as an example. But make sure it's a medium 4, always. Okay. The cool part is a lot of these come with a pattern inside. Don't have to go by it. You can try if you want to, but you don't have to. There's the tools. There's the tips. Okay, so now that I've shown you all of the tools and given you the tips on yarn, there's a few other tips that I would like to share with you. First, if you don't have to pay for yarn at full price, don't. Download the Joann's app on your phone, because that way when you go to the store, you can pull their app up and you can pull the coupons. They always have coupons, 50% off your entire purchase, 50% off one item, all kinds of different things, 40% off, 20% off. They always have coupons. Use them. The other thing, offer up. A lot of times there's people around you that are selling yarn. Get to know how much your skeins of yarn are going to be at normal full cost. This one normally is $5-6. Know the prices, because then you can go on OfferUp and you will find people that are just don't need it for whatever reason, too much, or they don't want it anymore. You know, there's always an excuse as to why they're getting rid of it. So take advantage of that. Purchase their yarn. Some of it's not always a full skein, but that's okay, because some projects don't require the whole thing. The other one, that's what your birthday and Christmas is for. You tell your parents and your family and Santa Claus, yes, he does exist. You tell him, I need Joann's gift cards, or whatever is your local yarn store in your town. You need gift cards for that store. Who's paying the bill now? So, gift cards, coupons, and OfferUp always are your key to getting your yarn a little bit lower than full price. Always look for that stuff. Be frugal. It pays off in the end. So that's a tip. Trick. Could be a trick. Yeah, I would say that's a trick. But the most important tip that I can give you, and this is something you cannot buy in any store, confidence. Confidence is the most important, because when you first start, you're gonna get frustrated. Things are gonna come out lopsided. Then your stitches are gonna look weird, because you're learning your tension. You have to know how to hold tension. So you know what? Have the confidence to know that you are gonna fight through, you're gonna figure it out, and you are gonna finally make the perfect pot holder. Even if it's just a pot holder, that's it. You just need confidence. Believe in yourself, and you will get that project done just right. And sometimes mistakes are okay, because that mistake will actually make the project look that much cooler. You're gonna look at it and be like, I didn't mean to do that, but I love how it looks. I do it all the time. So have your confidence, be strong. So altogether, I'm gonna say thank you for watching this video. I really, really hope this helped all of you guys get confidence and figure out how to work with all these tools that you get Don't get frustrated. I know it's a lot. Start small, build yourself up. And again, like I said, pot holders, make 1 billion of these, because this is the best way to get used to going back and forth, learning your turning chain and also your tension. So we'll have other videos where you can learn that. I've already got a few other ones. Look back in my past videos. If you want me to make more teaching videos like this, drop that down in the comments. Whatever. I will do whatever y'all ask me to do, okay? So don't be afraid to ask me questions. So, thank you for watching. I will see you guys in my next video, and if you have not done it yet, click on that subscribe button. It's right there. So that little red one right there. Yeah, click on that. Also, notification bell. And if this was helpful, I'll take a thumbs up. So, I will see you guys in my next video. So until then, happy crocheting!